So it's been over 2 years now since we've had Christopher Eccleston at Big Finish. Just over 3 years since we had that initial announcement.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way since then, and now we've got him in an anniversary special,
A multi-doctor
which,
one as well.
yeah, which is crazy to think about. But not quite your typical multi-doctor one, which is maybe how they smung it with him. I
Yeah.
suppose because yeah, he certainly said in interviews before that he finds that to be quite gimmicky, doesn't he?
He likes to be the
And
lone wolf, doesn't he?
yeah, but I suppose the temptation of getting to work with good friend and actor he very much admired, David Warner, was the push over the edge there for him, and also because it's an alternative universe Doctor, maybe that sort of eases it past him a bit there.
Hmm.
But yeah, certainly. I mean, you could, if you're being very cynical, say maybe they come up with this whole degeneration concept just so they could include Eccleston
Yeah.
here without him having to meet his other selves. But to be fair to Big Finish, the concept was thought up, I think, before even Eccleston signed on.
Yeah. I think it was like
'Cause
2016 or 17. So I think they were doing stuff for like Legacy of Time as well at the same time frame, really.
yeah, I mean, yeah, this was in the works for a while. And this was sort of like slotted on as an extra episode in a way, like
Hmm.
wasn't part of their original plans. Like I imagine when the Martian invasion of Planetoid 50, the 10th Doctor episode, was recorded, this wasn't even considered as an option yet, perhaps,
Hmm.
or was only just starting to appear as one, which you could sort of tell in the way that that story involves the 10th Doctor within it, how the degeneration becomes a post degeneration. Yeah, like involves future faces as well as past, how that mystery is solved. It sort of feels like, even though this is continuing on with that, it feels like that wasn't necessarily part of the plan with how it plays into Martian Invasion Planetoid 50.
Hmm.
But nevertheless, we have Christopher Eccleston here, lone wolfing, because he is this is the only once in future where you don't get a degeneration at all. Don't
Yeah.
expect
It's
there to be any cameos from first three Doctors or anyone else. It is just Eccleston from start to finish.
yeah. You don't get the transition from Tennant to Eccleston in this, which would have been quite cool. To have
Hmm.
that in reversing, that would have been really sweet.
Yeah. Taking back his crown.
Yeah, like, hey, this is for you, 2005 kids. I'm staying. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of been the funny thing about the degeneration concept as a whole, hasn't it? Where, you know, sometimes you do just feel like this is their doctor anyway, not
Hmm.
necessarily a degenerating doctor,
Hmm.
which it's a fine line because it's the anniversary special. You want these doctors to be recognizable as their doctors. But at the same time, with a concept like this, it does feel like a bit of a shame that more couldn't be done there. It's a double-edged sword, really,
Yes.
the concept. But yes, this is the sixth now. We're nearing
Mm.
the end, which is crazy to think about. It feels like only yesterday we were sucking into past lives. So we're sort of easing around the topic at the moment. We've been liking these more and more as they've gone on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I think until now. How
Yes.
yeah, how was it for you?
I think there's a lot of emphasis on this one because obviously it's Christopher Eccleston. This is David Warner's last outing as the Unbound Doctor, and we have a lot of love for the Unbound Doctor. We did a whole stream on him dedicated to talking about his releases,
Yeah.
and
We were very hyped, weren't we, before
yeah,
this? This was the one we were looking forward to for a while because
it's one of the worst kept secrets, isn't it? This one.
yeah,
Eccleston said like back in like February last year, I would say.
Yeah, he said he'd recorded a story for the 60th anniversary with David Warner, which obviously was exciting, and you sort of hear that and you think, how could that possibly go wrong?
And with a cast like it has Nicola Walker, Robert Powell,
Gina McKee,
you know,
I mean, it is just those 5.
Yeah.
It's a rather small cast, but yeah, 5 brilliant actors in a script that I feel just throws them from plot point to plot point, really. Like, there's no
location after location for whatever reason.
There's not necessarily any agency on the characters' part. They're very much just getting flung through. They're falling through the plot, really.
Like sand.
Yeah. It's like, to start this plot, they've turned an hourglass upside down. All the characters are dropping down.
It literally is that, though.
Yeah. And like, information comes to you when it's just as it becomes important. Like, there's no natural build to any reveals, and a lot of it feels fairly obvious as well where it's going. Like, it does rather feel like some of the stories in the Chris Chibnall era in that sense, because there's like a prophecy going on here that's very literal, very obvious what it means, and it sort of lines of it get brought up only when it's relevant to the plot, which, yeah, it just does feel... I love the high concept nature of a lot of it.
It feels very anniversary 5 Doctors I got with like the whole Time Lord Immemorial, this sort of in between the multiverses and all that of time. That's a really neat idea. Like the grains of sand that hold time together. Yeah, it's quite neat as well. And the actual reveal of what the Time Lord Immemorial is, I thought, was very clever too. But again, it's like what a lot of the Chibnall era is, where there's some good concepts there, but just the reveals and the way that translates into actually story beats never feels fulfilling. Really. And yeah, that's what I got with a lot of this. Like, you've got Christopher Eccleston meeting David Warner here, or the Ninth Doctor meeting the Unbound Doctor, and I didn't feel anything for it. They kind of get rid of it straight away. There's like maybe 3 scenes of them together on their own, and then it's kind of Liv and the Unbound Doctor or whatever doing their thing. It's mainly the Ninth Doctor and the Lumiere. But even the characters just feel so interchangeable. It's that sort of artist at the end of time, whereas like this isn't really the 5th Doctor. It could be any other Doctor and it works fine. Yeah, I think this has the same syndrome as that. Yeah, I think this is probably the worst offender for me. This is the most Big Finish dartboard of Once and Future, funnily enough. Despite the fact that Lisa McMullen's previous script, The Two's Company, was very much accused of that. Actually, the way the characters are incorporated into that feels very specific to them. Like, you've got Lady Christina being a jewel thief, you've got Jackie being much more down to earth, and that wonderful relationship between her and Lady Christina. You got Harry and his part with Unit, him being a bit more gullible. How all the different character choices there, it feels like there's a purpose to it. Which is kind of the beginning of Once and Future, where the Doctor meets his character because so-and-so. And I think, definitely has that. Yeah, here it does just feel like, we've got a collection of characters thrown together for no particular reason. Like, you could swap most of them out. I mean, if anything, it could maybe have been made more interesting by swapping the Lumiere out with any other master, so that you could have had a bit more of an antagonistic force within it. Yeah, that sort of more unpredictable nature. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Christopher Eccleston's a big fan of Derek Jacobi. We know Nicola Walker and Derek worked together in Last Tango in Halifax, get on very well. So maybe that could have been a reunion. It left me cold, this story, sadly. And I feel like it shouldn't have done. It never really kicked in. I don't think it ever found its gear. I think it just stayed in the same lane, and it didn't do anything.
It just ends up feeling inconsequential to the whole thing.
It feels like another sidestep, like the Davros one, Genius for War.
Yeah, that's it, really. I mean, there is a bit more in this plot-wise, but again, that's all going to come down to how it comes together in the Union later this month. So, yeah, I just wished for more, really.
It's
for better.
It's 52 minutes, so I think it's the shortest one.
Yeah,
and I think it did need a little bit longer because I think there's, like you say, some good concepts, and the monsters, like the sand creatures, they're quite
Silicons.
They feel quite RTD-esque with like the gimmick, with little catchphrases they have.
Yeah, the sands of time are running out.
Yeah, you can imagine that on like a t-shirt, and how you get transformed into them. That's quite gruesome.
Yeah, but that's very quickly dropped as well, really.
Yeah, because you literally have every character being engulfed by the sand, and there's no repercussion for the main. Again, is it plot armor? Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Five Doctors comparison with this, and I can see that, but I also see a bit of Three Doctors in like getting transported, ending up in literally a quarry at one point, pretty much.
Yeah,
like you get that same vibe as the Third Doctor and Joe wandering around, and so like the idea of it being a place that's almost nowhere and impossible, and slightly outside of our reality. It just feels like, at this point in Once and Future, we should be doing more with it, but we're not.
You feel like everything was blowing in the right direction, and this had every ingredient for it to be a success. And if you enjoyed it, I'm very happy. It's just for us, the ingredients didn't really gel together to form this wonderful adventure. What it could have been.
Yeah, it's undercooked and overmixed, I think is the best way to sum this one up, sadly. All the right ingredients, but undercooked and overmixed is I think how I'll leave this one. Really.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
To the Union, I guess, to see if it unionizes this series.
See if it all comes together.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot is being pinned on that finale. Matt Fitton's done it before with Dalek Universe, so fingers crossed that it does all come together there. But at the moment, it's looking a bit shaky for me.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah, which, again, shame because, 50th anniversary, or 60th anniversary,
yeah,
sorry.
60, yeah.
This should be Big Finish.
This is the flagship.
Strongest, yeah, but it feels like such a mixed bag. And
it's a bit worrying to think, has the story kicked in? Have we kicked in? Yeah. We shall see. We might be speaking in a few weeks' time going, God, that was genius how that bit linked to that. And I hope it is. I hope we have that where we kind of took things for granted, and we were meant to take these things for granted, and it all knits together.
Yeah, because we're currently still in the mechanism. We've not got the blueprint to look down on. We're still working our way through, so we'll see how it does all come together. But I suppose we'll see all of you at the Union. Yeah,
should we give it a rating?
Yeah, 5, I think. It's the most generous I'm feeling at the moment.
I'll go a 6.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see you in the Union. Paul McGann, Caroline Ford, Alex Kingston, Tom Baker. So again, that has all the right ingredients. We'll see if it comes out to be a perfect cake.
Yeah. I mean, you need a good cake for an anniversary, so...
You do.
Yeah. Fingers crossed we get one to tuck into come the end of the month. But until then, take care of yourselves, everyone.
Bye-bye.